before you to discuss my strengths and my weaknesses. I put a post out this morning and I said that I was, and so here we are. And what I'm going to do, guys, is drop this camera right quick. So I am live on YouTube and Instagram, but I have done something new today. I have pulled out my camera and one that I have had for over 2 years. I think it's, yeah, definitely over a year, definitely over a year and a half. So that is how adjusting that mess that. Okay, so yeah, so um I pulled out the camera, which I was like, let me do something different here. Let me do something different for today. And I wanted to just send, I need to practice with it, get some timing with the camera. So I brought out the big boy today. He is right there. But one thing about the big boy is, and this camera, pulling out this camera today definitely goes with my weaknesses, right? So pulling out this camera today is practice for me because I want to do more. And IG, are you frozen? Let me go look over here. IG. Yeah, on IG and see if I am frozen. So, hey, and hey, did IG really freeze up on me? So, well, let me see if IG is gonna come back on board. Okay, and IG. All right, and I always keep IG up because IG is my backup. No matter what, IG is the backup, and it um let me see. Yeah, la boroko shalata. Instagram. And I can't see over here. If I am, I apologize, guys. This is trying to see if IG is frozen before I move forward. So Instagram.com/ see if I am live because all right, because I'm just frozen. I'm just looking at myself there and see if it's going. So, nonetheless, I thank you guys for tuning in over on YouTube. So, yes, so what I was saying is going to tie into who I am and why I brought out this big boy camera. So, I've had this camera for over 2 years, if not right at 2 years. I've had this camera and it's just been sitting literally in a bag in all my equipment. I have a lot of stuff, enough for I can have 3 4 studios going on here at the same time, and I could just a lot of vlogging equipment. So yeah, so I was like, okay, pulling out this camera, let's get started. I pulled it out roughly around 4-ish, 5-ish. I started digging through my stuff, looking for it. I found it, and yeah, Instagram is really off the rails right now for whatever reason. Say poor connection. There we are. Okay, so So I went and I pulled out this camera and I started digging for stuff. I said, okay, I need my other tripod because I need to bring my lighting up because I decided to do it in this area. So I need my lighting up. I needed different things set up. I just needed to do a lot of other things. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I started roughing around about 4 p.m. today, getting ready just for this live, right? So I already had my strengths and weaknesses written down. I wrote them down bright and early this morning to get ready for this live. And then I was like, okay, I had some run around to do. I came back, I found everything and started twiddling with everything. I brought out the camera. Then I had to charge everything. Everything has been sitting. Then I had to read the instructions. I had to figure out the things. I had to do a test run and play with it. And that brings me to this camera was one of my weaknesses that I have for number 2 of my weaknesses. So let me just dive in. Should I do my weaknesses first, my strengths first, right? Maybe let me do my weaknesses first, and that way I can declare throughout this video, right? Declare throughout this live against them, right? So my first weakness, oh my goodness. My first weakness is shiny objects, easily distracted. So oh yeah, and another thing is I wanted to use my board, but my board is downstairs and it's cold downstairs and I don't want to go downstairs. I want to do it up here. So I was going to run out to the store and do an impulse, which is number 2 again of my weaknesses, do an impulse purchase and just go out, buy another dry erase board, one on a stand, one real big, run out to Best Buy. And then I realized I was online looking like, oh, let me buy it now, and I go pick it up, right? Then I realized, oh, I have one. I bought one 6, 7, 8 months ago in the fall sometime last year, right? From Temu, Temu from Temu, right? So I bought it and then so I was like, let me pull it out. Where am I going to put it? So that was my test runs that I was doing with my camera that I pulled out, see if I wanted it horizontal or vertical, right? So here it is, shiny objects. Shiny objects. Shiny objects are my first weakness. That I get easily distracted. I'll have a thought and I'll write it down, right? And I'll just leave it sitting there. Or I might chase it by going onto the internet and chasing it. Like literally, let me go figure out something. Let me go pull this out. Let me go look and see how much this was cost or what someone else is doing with it or what business idea I can move with it. How can I promote it, right? So I'm just going to turn my light here, guys. See if this does something. Okay, yeah, with my shadow there. So, yeah, so that's what I was doing. Shiny objects. So shiny objects, and you now know how prevalent everything is. Once you start looking on one website or on your phone or looking somewhere, then you get what? You get you go somewhere else on another website, social media outlet, Instagram, and there it is, an ad popping up, right? YouTube popping up. All these things, right? Coming at you. So shiny objects. I'll see it, I'll like it, and then with a shiny object, though, what I will do is simply see how long it's going to take me to grasp it. And I'll give myself 10 minutes. Sometimes I'll give myself, see how much time, what information I'm going to get in the first 10 minutes of me either looking online, looking through on their landing page, their first page, their sales page, what other products they have on their site. I give myself 10 minutes, right? So with these shiny objects or being easily distracted, I'm on there looking for something else, and then I see this and I'm like, oh, I need this instead. I'll throw it in the cart, or perhaps I'll just go down that rabbit trail. Hallelujah. Rabbit trails. That's another one, right? Shiny objects, also known as rabbit trails. So with those rabbit trails, then I'll just go deeper and deeper. And next thing I know, I'm not per se as Instagram short watcher or Instagram or YouTube just watching stuff, right? I'm always trying to learn something new or figure out something new, or how can I improve in something that I'm doing, or do something better, or something as a whole new shiny object. Like, hey, I can do that. I can implement that, or I can incorporate that, or I can try that, or that's not going to take too long. So I'll go down that rabbit trail, and that shiny object will just keep shining. It never gets dull, right? And I'll just keep going, and let 30 minutes, half hour, 2 hours, 4 hours later, there I am. And what I went for initially, I'm not even there anymore. I don't even know where I started. Then I'm hitting back um on my search engine. You're on your phone, and I'm on the internet, and I'm on Safari, and then I'm hitting the back button to see how far I can go back, right? Just to recalibrate, get back to what I initially started out doing. So that is my first weakness, right? Shiny objects, rabbit trails, constantly, right? Those things, rabbit trails. But hey, I'm not the only one, and I am acknowledging it. So I am growing, right? So for the next one, oh my goodness. So let me do here. And my next one here is number 2, impulse buying. Like, okay, impulse buying is my number 2. Impulse buying is my number 2. Just like I said, hey, I saw a vision. I saw how I wanted to do this live, and I was ready to go out to Best Buy right now and go and buy another board, right? I was going to go and buy another board simply so I can do this and put it out in a teaching way, instead of using the board that I already have, which is downstairs, that was already set up with the bright lights and the studio and the camera. But I was like, no, I don't want to do it down there, right? So here I am right now. So impulse buying, impulse purchases usually get me when I am in creation mode. When I am in creation mode, I generally will do impulsive purchases, or go down again those rabbit trails with shiny objects through, and then buying something that I had no idea when I woke up this morning even existed, or that I wanted or even needed, right? So when I do these impulse purchases, it's why I have so many cameras, so many phones, so many lights, so many tripods, so many gadgets and technical things in my home, that it's like, oh my goodness, do I really need another one? Yes, I do. But when in those impulse moments, it's something that I'm still working on. It is a weakness for me, and I do teach finances and I do teach budgeting. But when it comes to impulse buying, that is what I'm working on for myself right now. I can't say this year, this is this moment. So impulse buying will not be my weakness in 6 months, because I am overcoming. One way I'm overcoming is because simply, instead of running out to make those purchases, those impulse buys or those purchases online, is because I have ordered last week 2 items. Several items, but from Walmart and Amazon. And each time in my new house, my new address, I'm not getting the stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I sit back and I be like, okay, do I really need it? So then I got to call them, go through all that through customer service, refund or resend and print off and send it back and drop it off and go and wait again. I'm like, you know what? I didn't even really need it. So that's one way that I realize this impulse buying is not something I'm going to be dealing with in 6 months. That's one. And then the other thing is, I'm like, I have a mission and I have a goal, because I want to make a certain amount of income this year within the next 5 months now, 4 to 5 months now, and then another income goal, another figure by the end of this year. Because this time next year, I want to have other things going on internationally, right? But I need finances to do that. I need that income. I need that money to do that. So that is something else with my impulse buying. I'm like, do I really need it? do, or is it that I just want it? And one of the things today, I had to go to the grocery store, and I went to the grocery store and I said, as far as like budgeting and with credit cards and everything like that, I haven't used my Target Circle card in like forever. So I said, let me go make a purchase over there so I can keep it active. Then I can just pay it off and whatever, right? So I went there and I went to go get some milk, and I'm like, milk is 5, 6, almost 6. Was it 4 something, 5 something, $5, $6 at Target. I'm like, Jesus, do I really need this milk? And I'm like, it's for the baby. Does the baby really need this milk right now? So I really have my mindset, like, just because I'm trying to help out myself in another area, maintain a certain level of credit or history on this with this Target card, I was like, man, do I really need to buy the milk here, right? So I do the purchases. I make it in another impulse purchase. I said, okay, I'm not going to buy myself any potato chips, right? But I like Lay's jalapeno, but you get one for like what, $4, $5, $6, right? But they had Lay's sour cream and onion, buy one, second, half off. So I was like, well, okay, let me just do that. So I'll get 2 for 1, which is still less than my favorite Lay's jalapeno chips, right? So I was like, so that's how I compromised today, right? Feeling I was getting 2 for 1. And then when I got to the register, I bought several items, and I went back in the store to return the basket and shiny objects. I said, oh, look at all these toys right here at the entrance. I can get the baby, right? So I buy the baby. I go and get the baby all these toys, right? And all these little bath toys and things like that. Impulse buying, right? Then I get to the register, and because I had just used the Target Circle card, that whole purchase was free. Everything that I just bought the baby became free. So I was kind of like happy on that, right? I didn't have to pay for any of her toys on that second purchase, right? So that impulse buy was broke even, right? It did something, but see, shiny objects and impulse buying, you see how they go together. So as I deal with myself on this impulse buying for the next 6 months, the shiny objects also will be gone. My eye will not be attracted like an infant. You know how they tell if infants can see? They dangle something shiny in front of their face and see if their eyes move. That's how you tell if an infant can see. So I know I am immature in my money spending when it comes to impulse buying and shiny objects, right? Shiny objects and impulse buying, right? That is exactly where I'm immature at. I act like an infant, just out the crate, just out the womb, like just born. And it is not good at all, right? So, hey love, good news to you. Thanks for joining. So, that is number 2 of my weaknesses. Now let me go over here to number 3 for my weakness, and this I have, yeah.
Mommy.
Yes. All gone. All right. So number 3. Number 3 under my weakness is bad relationships. Yes. Bad relationships. If I told you how many times I've been married, it's just not something that I'm diving back into, right? If you tell me how many relationships I've been in that I have nothing to show for now. Hey, and not just marriage, not nearly just intimate relationships or man and woman and things like that, but just personal relationships as well, like friendships. Nothing to show for it. Why? I'm bad at relationships. That is something that it is a weakness of mine, because I would tell myself, or I would engage with people like, yeah, let's hang out, let's kick it, yeah. But then it comes to, it's not something I really want to do. I rarely ever, not rarely, there is zero bit in me for anything about hanging out. I don't hang out. I just don't. Friendship, my phone never rings. I have I have my business phone. I have my business line, and that is doing good. That's my business line, so that's not going anywhere, right? But then I have my personal phone on my regular line. It never rings. I paid for a whole iPhone 14 and the phone never rings. Why? Because I don't nurture relationships, friendships, or any kind of ships to engage like that. I don't do what it takes to maintain a relationship. That's what I don't do. I don't do what it takes to maintain a relationship. So when it comes to anything with relationships, my weakness number 3 is I'm bad at it. And one thing, yes, I'm taking the time to acknowledge it now, but I am not. I have no desire to change in that area because unless it's business. Now if it's work and business and clients, those relationships are cultivated to the degree of the exchange. That's it. It's a product. A business is either providing, selling. You products or services. That's it. So that's just an exchange of products or services. So a business relationship is totally different. But on a personal relationship or maintaining friendships, I don't have any. I am the worst at it. And I haven't maybe I need a relationship mentor if I want to go down that road, but I really don't. My business is good. I'm busy. I'm a single parent. So the any other time to just I've never, my years of living, never been a person to just chill. Never been a person to just say, hey, we're going to hang out. Let's go and kick it. Or let's go and do nothing. When I was a teenager, I did those things. I did. But I started working full force, full time. That went out the window. I didn't have time for that. And again, I was a single parent of 2 children at the time in the house then. And it's like, nah, don't have time to just sit around doing nothing, right? And now with me working from home, keeping the baby, being a mompreneur, it's like, if it's not business related, I used to like to go out and drink coffee and just sit around and do all my work at the coffee shops and take my, not now with the baby, right? So now my relationship is with my business. So my relationship now that I'm building and growing, cultivating, and nurturing is the one with my business. Why? I need to show up every single day. I have to teach myself a newfound discipline because I'm not getting up and being responsible to someone else's business. So I have to run my own. I have to check in. I have to do certain things to build my business one day at a time, right? And then on another level, it's like relationships, to bring in a relationship now in everything that I do. When would I have time or make time for someone else? So when I say bad relationships, I can go on and justifying about that's an area that I'm just not good in, right? I'm not a relationship coach. I can coach you in anything. There's a foundation and fundamentals to coaching, period. I can coach you through anything. But any personal experiences, that's it. I don't have the patience for it. You make me mad. I don't want to deal with you no more. You get on my nerves. I don't want to deal with you no more. Right? Call me at the wrong time. What do you want? So I don't do small talk, and I'm not going to call and check on you. And if you call and check on me, I'm going to be like, what? Everything is fine. It's the same. Nothing's changed. Right? So that's it. So those are my 3 weaknesses. Right? So let me go over them and again summarize before we go into my 3 strengths. So my number 1 weakness was shiny objects, right? That's that dealing with that perfection or always in creation mode, right? Perfection. You always gotta fix it and do it better, right? Recreate it, strengthen it some type of way. I found something wrong with it. I don't like it. So that's what shiny objects. Now I'm over here looking at how to do it better, joining another webinar, another seminar, download another ebook, reading something else about it. Shiny objects going away. No more problems for me in 6 months. Count it. Count it. And then the next one is impulse buying. Impulse buying, right? I love technical things. I love techie stuff, right? Behind the scenes. If I could turn this camera around and show y'all what this area, these lights are beaming down on me, these cameras set up, these two iPhones. I got the camera right here. I got the two lights right here, the overhead light, the light behind it, like the whole setup, my gadgets, my computers. I love tech, right? All the accessories and I got all of those, but those are impulse buying because why? I have multiple of them, right? Multiple tripods. I have more. Bought another tripod today. My God, right? So this different impulse buying. 6 months won't be dealing with that anymore. But one thing I did realize was what? This and this were going together. Shiny objects and impulse buying was going together. So definitely checking that off in 6 months, checking that off in 6 months. And my third one was bad relationships. And this is on, let me put personal relationships, right? Because I love to help people. I love to be called upon to help people. I love when people say, God told me to call you, because that means God is about to speak to me about you if he hasn't already. Sometimes, most of the time, he's already spoken to me about the person, right? And I already have my notes written down. I'd be like, you calling me about this, but God told me this about you, ... on this date, right? I love taking notes. You guys. So, but anyway, bad personal relationships, business relationships, great. I'm good to go on that area. But bad at personal relationships. So am I gonna focus on changing that? That's and I say it's a weakness because I go into it knowing I'm not, and it's just a setup for the other person, and it's just horrible. It's not talking about like a man or woman or relationship, like that can be anything, a friendship, a cordial relationship, going to drink coffee. I'm not going to continue doing that every single day, week, or whatever, right? It's just something I do. I'm not going to meet you and have a girls' night, go to the movies, or do nails together. No, we're not doing those things, right? It's just not who I am. It's not something that I enjoy doing. So those are my weaknesses. So this one will be with me for a while because to get over something, to get through something, you go through and practice it because you intentionally are wanting to get better. Well, I don't see right now, right, of me attacking my personal relationship area simply because I'm not justifying the time to set aside to say, hey, no, my personal time now is this relationship and taking this baby to library book readings and playgrounds and riding her new bicycles and stuff like that outside. So no, that's it. So those are my weaknesses. And as I erase this,
Mommy,
yes, it's dark. It's right. And so you see here, I have write it, plan it, execute it. I started, that baby was birthed right around maybe this time last year or the year before, but write it, plan it, execute it. I'm writing it. No, it was birthed last year, and I'm writing that. And when I finish writing that bad boy, I'm excited. Why? You write it, plan it, execute it, right? And it's all that is faith. That's all it is faith. And those are the series that I'm doing over at Alwonza, faith series, right? So my next one I'll be talking about are my strengths. My strengths. So my number one is, I say, zeal. My zeal, and I say zeal / dash cheerleader supporter type, because my zeal is when I'm with you, I'm with you. You're going hard, you're doing your business, I'm supporting you, I'm promoting you, I'm doing whatever it takes to build you up. That is what I am good at. Now, mind you, this is on Coach A's channel, but always I'm a pastor first. So that comes out, right? It comes out in that grace and that anointing. So I'm grateful for that. And then zeal and supporting, your number one cheerleader. If I'm with you, I'm with you. And that goes both ways. When I'm not, I'm not. You know, when I'm with you, I'm with you. And that's not something that I take lightly. And I'm very, very great at supporting, great at lifting up, exhilarating, exhorting you. That's something that I really, really love to do. And it's natural. It takes no energy, it takes nothing out of me. And it used to drain me to where I had to realize and pay attention to, hey, what is going on when I help people? Why do I feel so drained and yet they're bouncing off the walls, right? So I had to learn how to balance that, and I had to learn when the pulling and when the pull and the pushing was happening, right? But zeal, number one fan. I'm with you. I'm with you. You can't change that, right? I support you 100, and I'll stay that way, right? Until everything runs its course, and then it's done. It's done. Like sometimes everything doesn't last forever, right? You can be getting ready to launch a course or do your webinar or support you in your group, and I'll be your number one fan. I'll be that one that's commenting. I'll be that one that's there showing up for you every single time. It's what I am, it's who I am, and it's what I like to do, right? And so when it comes to those supporting in those areas, it's something that I don't take lightly, right? I create from, I go above and beyond. Those are my strengths when it comes to supporting. I love it, and I'm the biggest number one cheerleader, right? I love that, love that. So my number two is helper. Now, this one is not the same as the zeal with the cheerleader, because that zeal that's in me when I'm with you, it's like we're knitted and tied together, inseparable, right? But then when it comes to helping, and I put a solver, and it's a solutionist, right? I'm a solver, a problem solver, right? No matter what it is, my strength is I solve problems. I was born this way. And I tell you, my strengths are so spiritual. Like I can't separate being who I'm called to be as a pastor from the foundation of the world. God called me that way. That's how I've been my whole life, a solver of problems, astronomical levels that I don't even know how to think up or come up with, to think of how to solve them if it wasn't for God's grace on my life, if it wasn't from hearing him, right? That is my advantage. One thing I say about Coach Alwonza, not only am I graced I'm anointed to solve problems. I'm anointed to help you, right? Why? Because I have that advantage of hearing God's voice. I have that advantage of being present, of seeing and hearing and discernment, right? I have that advantage of behind the scenes. You may think your back is, oh, my legs hurt. It may be, or your back hurt. And you may think, oh, what could it be? It can be stemmed from something else. It can be stemmed from a bladder infection. It can be stemmed because your legs are uneven. It can be stemmed, I got a headache or something. It can be a clot in your finger. It can be anything, but that's who I am, and I solve problems. How, why? Things I don't even know about. Things that grow me. When you come to me, when people come to me, and it can be on the spiritual side, the lifestyle side, the business side, it doesn't matter. Coaching, the same principles are followed, and it's the same foundation. With pastoring and mentoring, the same thing. Counseling, same thing. I'm in that vein, that's it. Sometimes I'm helping my clients, and I'm just like, as a coach, and next thing I know, pastor kick in, and I'm just like, that spiritual side kick in, and God starts speaking. If you're ever in a session with me, you'll notice those times when God kick in, and it's like, wow, get straight to the point, the core of the problem, and it is solved right just that quick. So grateful. Not once in my whole entire life have I ever told somebody I had to get back with you with that answer. Why? You come to me for help. It's like, one time there was this minister, right? And someone came to them who was about to commit suicide and began to talk to the minister. And the minister tells them, wait, let me go pray about it. Give me 3 days. I just hit the floor. I just didn't know what you told the person. 3 days. The person's about to kill themselves, And I'm just like, that relationship that relationship, right? That grace, that anointing, that office that I carry as a pastor, that direct line straight to God. That's why I'm able to solve problems. That is another strength of mine. You see that zeal and that solver of problems, they go together. They go together. And my third one also, I discerner. I'm a discerner. You see how all these go together? Do you see how the zeal, the helper, and the discerner? Why? Because I love my calling as a pastor, and it flows into everything that I do, right? And who I am, right? I am there for you, help you at that moment so you can move forward and go on. And that doesn't mean that we have to maintain a relationship, which sometimes clients and anyone else can get confused. Oh, yes, we had a good time together. Yes, I helped you solve your problems. Yes, but that does not mean that we are best buddies now. We are best friends now. That is where I had to learn how to say no. That is where I had to learn how to draw the line. That is where I had to learn how to just wean my clients, right? That is not what I'm here for, to hold your hand. That is one thing that I realize that I don't take a lot of time doing, and that's holding hands. Why are we holding hands? Why? You came to me, you had a problem is solved, move on, keep moving forward, something else arises, I'm here for you. Or you come to me, there's a problem, you just need a little nudge, you need a little help, you need a little guidance, that's it. But where is that where it becomes something that we're going to be, pinky swearing together? No. So those are my strengths, but they weren't always my strengths. I had to learn how boundaries. Oh, I'm going to teach that as well, how I came to my sense of boundaries. I had to learn boundaries. And a lot of things, I'm going to be honest right now and transparent. Some of my clients that I actually had and were there to help, they became intimate relationships, like personal relationships. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was here to help this person, not become their right hand or that happened. And that's when I had to learn, like, do I walk away, or I need to grow up real quick? I need to learn how to say no, and I need to learn how to set boundaries. And so that's when I had to push away and say, hey, I need to step back, learn my job, learn my calling, and stay in it, in its place, and not use it as it says in Corinthians. I get, like Peter said, or Paul said, he could draw anybody away with the grace and anointing, right? Every right. That is a power that we carry. People will follow. But that is something that we have to be mature about and not be lackadaisical about, and recognize the signs in ourselves that this is what's happening. And those are where those boundaries come in. I'm telling you, it wasn't easy getting to say this out loud or even having it as a strength. Why? Because I was immature in that area. And it was me learning step by step, patient by patient, client by client. And it was not healthy, and sometimes, right? So those are my strengths. Those are my weaknesses. I am so excited that you tuned in this far. I'm so excited that I would love to hear you're here right now. What are some your weaknesses or strengths that you might be having right now as well? You can leave them in the comments below. You can DM me. You can definitely connect with me always. I have my business line. I leave it. It's 770-770-2238. You can always reach me at that number as well. Leave a message. I'll get back to you. But I think it's a yes, and I'm available. But generally, it's till about 4 p.m. that I'll reply and do everything, and I'll get back to you within 48 hours. So that is something that I pride myself on, having that access. And I also pride myself in, I don't leave you. One thing I don't do is leave you, leave you hanging. And one of those things is knowing when to withdraw my foot. So, you can have those clients that have as much zeal as you have, right, when they first start out, but then they're not making progress and they're not doing anything. How long do I stay with them? How long do I move forward? Well, not too long when I know that the progress and you're not doing anything, right? So, with that being said, no need to stretch this out. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Always find me socializing at Coach Alwonza on YouTube and IG, as well as on YouTube and IG. I love you guys. And until next time, Coach A.